The first draft of the national drug policy should be presented to the representative ministries, Prime Minister's Ministry and Ministry of Education by July 2023 to garner feedbacks before it goes to Cabinet for approval. GBN sought feedbacks from participants. Superintendent Simon Dixon, head of the Drug Squad unit of the Royal Grenada Police Force, said it was a good exercise overall and foresees positive outcomes once implemented.
As far as I know, the existing policy ended about, I think, 2018, and we're way due for another policy. It covers every aspect of drugs, be it in the workplace, juveniles, drug legislation, drug control, and all those aspects. It was a wonderful 2 days. Takeaway, it would enable us to probably get more resources, probably force the government's hand into probably supplying more resources into the fight against narcotics in Grenada. It will look at collaborations, information sharing, and other aspects of that. So it was a good program. It was a good exercise, and I believe we would gain so much from it going further.
Jude Hector, Executive Director of Adult and Teen Challenge and stakeholder in the just concluded drug abuse consultation, said what can be looked forward to is a collation of all the items discussed, such as prevention, treatment and recovery, demand reduction, institutional strengthening, among others.
Today what we'll do is we bring everything together in one document that then will be a draft policy document that would then have to get cabinet approval. And what the expectation is that that the government will now, from a legislation perspective, because we have the policy, but now we need to have the legislation to support the policy. And we made the observation that without the proper legislation, the policy will not work. So the expectation out of this is that government will now look at the policy, because this is going to be a 5-year policy. So for the next 5 years, this will be the policy governing the drug policy at the national level, really. The Drug Secretariat sits with the Ministry of Education. There is also a strong link with national security. So I believe with those two ministries, it's then going to be looked at, and then once they deem it being at a position where it can be presented to Cabinet, at that point it will go to Cabinet for review and approval.
Hector cited adjustments that are likely in order for the policy to be effective.
How do our legislation needs to either be strengthened, or in some cases there might be some new ones that will be required to make sure it works. So there will be some commitment on the government's part. For example, in cases where we need more resources, right? What the discussion shows is that there are a number of areas that needs additional resources for it to work. So now we need the government to then allocate some of those resources, either having it directly or finding other ways that we can resource the departments to make it work properly.
The 2-day session began on Monday at the Grenada Youth Center. Christina John, GBN News.